During these hectic times, word balance means a lot, of course, and all previously mentioned solutions include processing of personal data, which was also one of the cornerstones in Jan's presentation. How customer due diligence and personal data processing rules interact? What are requirements and rules for tools? What are the challenges and issues now? We will hear from Jekaterina Macuka, an excellent professional who during Latvia's presidency in the Council of the European Union chaired the working group on data protection and information exchange and now leads Data State Inspectorate of the Republic of Latvia. Please, Jekaterina, put some rules.
Good morning, everyone. As was mentioned, honestly, when you have technical resolutions, when you have legal requirements, and you have everything to have something new and innovative in your work, then comes the beast, personal data protection. And for most companies, they say, oh, we cannot do it because of the personal data protection. But as Janis already mentioned, personal data protection are not prohibiting you for processing data, but you have to do it in compliance with the GDPR. You have to respect personal life and personal data because you are data subjects. It is your data that is collected, it is your data that is processed. So for their taking in account customers' due diligence, we have now a new regulation in Latvia, in the anti-money laundering law, which prescribes us to have as well closed shared KYC utility or open shared KYC utility. And it's prescribed by the law that Data State Inspectorate will be the institution that will be licensing these utilities, and each company can have a new business and open their own closed or shared, opened shared KYC utility. What do you need for this? First of all, you have to be registered, it's okay, in your EU. Then you have to have a reputation of your board, so good reputation without the punishment or crimes and etc. Then of course, according to the legislation, you have to have insurance and you have to be compliant on the GDPR. What does it mean compliance? First of all, you have to have legal basis for the processing of data, and in this case it would be anti-money laundering law when you will collect the data and process and give it to the other clients and users of your system. Then you have to think about the processes you have. You have to know what you do with your data, and in many cases companies, they say, okay, we collect something, we give something, but what happens in between we do not really know. It's not going like this. You have to know all the processes, you have to record these processes, and these processes have to be transparent for the supervisory authority and also for the customers, for the clients, in the way that law allows it. Then security. Security is quite important issue because it's your personal data, it's part of you. If you lose it, you lose part of yourself. So you have to ensure that your system is protected against the cyber attacks, against the information leak. You have to know the access of the information, who even from your employers access the information and what amount of the data accesses each employer or each customer. Do they have really the legal basis and purpose for accessing this information? Another thing is, last but not least maybe, this is a responsibility. KYC utility is taking data from the different users, from the banks, from the other KYC utilities, maybe from the new companies, as Liga mentioned. So you gather this data, and then you have to understand that you have to have precise and actual data. And then you have to divide the responsibility between those from whom you take the data and those data you produce by yourself. So if the client, the customer, will come with the application and said, no, you provided wrong information about me, you have to have means to find where this information went wrong. Is it wrong? Is it right? And if it's wrong information, then who is responsible for giving this wrong and information about the data subject? So between yourselves, if you want to organize KYC utility, you have to understand that within the contracts between you and other users, you have to note quite clearly whose responsibility is for the information of data subject and whose responsibility is for the setting the rules on data actuality. So if you go step by step through all these requirements, you will be compliant with the GDPR. You will not have problems with the data subject or with the data supervisor authority. And one more thing, cooperate with the supervisor authority. If they ask you something, answer them honestly what you are doing with your data. But nevertheless, I don't think that personal data protection could be the obstacle for the new technologies and innovations development, but we just have to think about it when we create something, and we have to think how we can diminish the risks of data leak, of the unequal data or wrong data, and then everything will be okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jekaterina. And